After a long period of silence, Sony finally unveiled their brand new system and the large variety of games we can expect to play on it. Judging by the positive like-to-dislike ratio and the immense viewing figures, the PS5 reveal event did exactly what it was designed to achieve: generate hype and goodwill for the upcoming console launch. As always, Sony's impressive exclusive titles are the driving force behind their ongoing success. At this point, it's not even surprising anymore, but exclusive games made up half of the entire reveal event, and every single one promised the high quality bar PlayStation fans are used to. The PS5 exclusive lineup looks rock solid. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Project Athia, Returnal, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, insert porn joke here, Destruction All-Stars, Kena, Astrobot Rescue Mission, my personal favorite Demon's Souls, and flagship titles like Horizon 2 Forbidden West. That's an impressive catalog of games, not even including AAA exclusives that are probably in development right now, but haven't been officially announced yet, like Spider-Man 2, a sequel to God of War, and maybe even the rumored Silent Hill reboot. Now it's on Microsoft to respond. The Xbox Games Showcase this Thursday is the moment of truth. All the studio acquisitions of the past 2 years should finally pay off. It's no mystery that Microsoft lost this console generation. The PS4 sold more than twice as many units, recently hitting the 110 units sold mark, while the Xbox One is still struggling to reach 50 million. The dreadful Xbox One reveal event certainly did the most damage, but the lack of meaningful exclusives may have been Microsoft's second biggest mistake. Now they have to ensure Xbox fans and potentially new customers that the same mistake won't repeat itself. If you ask me, that's what the Xbox Games Showcase should be all about. Show us Halo, show us Forza, but most importantly, finally show us remarkable new IPs and the resurrection of beloved old franchises. Show people you have something to offer besides hardware power. I truly believe the upcoming event has to be more than solid. At least for now, Microsoft is still fighting an uphill battle against PlayStation's sales numbers and highly successful exclusive IPs. In order to even the odds, we need to see an exclusive lineup that is on par with Sony's. I'm not sure if that's a realistic goal, even after the many studio acquisitions, but for the first time in years, I'm genuinely excited for a Microsoft conference. I was going to predict that we would get a first glimpse at the long-rumored Lockhart console, but on their official blog, Microsoft confirmed that the event will be exclusively focused on nothing but game announcements. They could be lying to us, of course, but for now my predictions will focus exclusively on games. No hardware and price predictions of any kind. That being said, here are 10 predictions for the Xbox Games Showcase. Halo Infinite's presence has already been confirmed on Twitter, which surprises absolutely no one. This game is less than 4 months away from release, but we haven't seen anything substantial yet. It's about time. Infinite is not only a new Halo game, which would be reason enough to set a high quality bar. As a launch title, it's also the first impression millions of players will get from the new system. They cannot fuck this up. We also have to take into consideration that Halo 5's campaign disappointed a large number of long-time Halo fans. Their trust needs to be regained. A trailer is not good enough. We have to see gameplay. You want this game to be a system seller? Then prove it's worth the money. Personally, I'm not invested in this franchise, but I sincerely hope Halo will find back to old strength and positively surprise fans. Everwild's beautiful art style caught my eye when it was first announced, but apart from the pretty visuals, we don't know a whole lot about the story and mechanics. I think Everwild could be a potential launch title. Sea of Thieves was released in March 2018. Depending on the game's scope, a holiday 2020 release should be in the realm of possibility. Just like Halo Infinite, Everwild needs to regain trust after the less than ideal launch of Sea of Thieves. Actually, Sea of Thieves and No Man's Sky have a lot in common. Both games made false promises and released in an unacceptable state, devoid of content and longevity. But over time they managed to improve thanks to constant DLCs and updates. As laudable as it might appear, if we are being honest, all this stuff should have been there at launch. This release a shitty game and fix it later mentality has to die. Rare haven't made a good game in over a decade, which is why I can't really hype myself for Everwild. Let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic. The return of Fable under the creative leadership of Playground Games would be a guaranteed highlight. The cancellation of Fable Legends was one of many disappointments on the Xbox One exclusive front. Fable's imaginative world and characters hold a ton of potential for a proper reboot of the franchise. Many of the biggest PS4 exclusives have been open world titles. Fable is the perfect candidate for a sprawling open world filled with gorgeous landscapes and intriguing characters. It could be Microsoft's equivalent to titles like Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone and Spider-Man. Of all the dormant Xbox IPs, Fable is the most likely to make a comeback. Although the game hasn't been officially confirmed yet, I'm fairly certain it will be revealed at the showcase. Hellblade 2 is the title I'd like to see the most, but unfortunately there is a high chance that we won't see it. Ninja Theory just released their unsuccessful multiplayer brawler Bleeding Edge. Besides, the initial reveal trailer at the Game Awards 2019 was primarily used to showcase the graphical potential of the Series X. My gut feeling tells me that Hellblade 2 won't see the light of day before 2022. If Ninja Theory makes an appearance, then most likely to share new information on Project Mara. Not much is known about the project apart from the fact that it is trying to recreate the terror of mental health issues. As many of you know, I'm a big Ninja Theory and Hellblade fan. Ninja Theory is probably the most talented developer of all the studios Microsoft have acquired. Microsoft's exclusive lineup is in desperate need of a game that can rival the single-player adventures of PlayStation. Knowing Ninja Theory, I just can't see Hellblade 2 being anything less than amazing. I wouldn't count on Hellblade 2 for the Xbox Games Showcase though. Let's hope this prediction turns out to be wrong. Another franchise I don't expect to see is Gears of War. Gears 5 released in September 2019. The next Gears of War game is probably still in early development. We might see a little teaser, but honestly that's kinda unnecessary. Sony could have shown a God of War teaser at the PlayStation 5 reveal event, but they decided against it, which was the right decision. Despite the upcoming console war during the holiday season, both Sony and Microsoft have to save some of their big guns for next year. Obsidian is currently working on Grounded, a survival adventure mixed with the premise from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But given Obsidian's size, the majority of the studio must be working on something much bigger, probably a brand new open world RPG. Grounded seems to be a smaller side project. Now the question becomes, will Obsidian reveal their main project before Grounded's release? Maybe they want to focus on Grounded for now and save the rest for a later date. The initiative is Microsoft's wild card. It's the only studio that is being built from the ground up. Funnily enough, much of the talent comes from former Sony Santa Monica and Naughty Dog employees. What type of game are they going to make? Well, your guess is as good as mine. However, I have a very intriguing theory. I'm sure most of you remember that Rise of the Tomb Raider was a timed exclusive. In an interview with IGN, Phil Spencer outright admitted that they tried to create an Xbox equivalent to Uncharted, but they could never quite reach the high quality bar Naughty Dog had set for the genre. So the main reason behind the Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusive deal was to add something like Uncharted to the Xbox portfolio. Ultimately, the timed exclusivity was kind of pointless. Uncharted 4 ended up being the far more successful game, financially and critically, not to mention that Rise of the Tomb Raider probably sold twice as many copies on PS4 when the timed exclusivity expired 1 year later. I think the initiative could be working on their own version of Tomb Raider and Uncharted. The fact that many of the developers used to work at Sony first-party studios and Daryl Gallagher is leading the project seems awfully suspicious. Keep in mind that Gallagher used to be the CEO of Crystal Dynamics before he joined the initiative. I could be reading too much into the whole situation, but who knows? Whatever they are working on, I hope we get a first glimpse at tomorrow's event. Phil Spencer already confirmed that Microsoft is planning to add even more developers to Xbox game studios. According to recent rumors, Microsoft is interested in acquiring Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. When I first came across this rumor, I immediately dismissed it as nonsense. Until I heard about AT&T's massive $155 billion debt. If this actually turns out to be true, Microsoft owns the video game rights to lucrative IPs like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter and Batman. It certainly would be a megaton announcement. It's more likely that Microsoft will acquire a couple of smaller developers, but I wouldn't put it past them. Talking about Warner Brothers, when in God's name is Rocksteady revealing their next project? Ever since Arkham Knight, which was released in 2015 by the way, we haven't heard or seen anything. Is it a Superman game? Is it a Batman game? Is it something else entirely? I have no idea. All I know is that something must have gone horribly wrong. Either they had to drastically change their original plans, or they had to abandon a project and start from scratch. I've been predicting the reveal of Rocksteady's new title for 2 years now. I guess I will be right eventually, but after being wrong so many times, I wouldn't be surprised if Rocksteady will be absent again. As a hardcore Souls fan, Elden Ring is my most anticipated game at the moment. I look forward to Cyberpunk 2077 and of course Demon's Souls. But you know what's even better than the remake of an old Souls game? A completely new one. The combination of George R.R. Martin and From Software still sounds like the wet dream of every dark fantasy fan. I know I'm gonna love this game, however, I'm basing that on the From Software games I've already played and not on Elden Ring itself. Apart from the epic CGI trailer at last year's E3, we know little to nothing about it. We know it's From Software's largest project yet, we know George R.R. Martin wrote the lore, and we know it will be influenced by Celtic mythology. But the gameplay mechanics are a total mystery. Please, Miyazaki, break your silence. I need this.
Or something. Don't tell me you don't see it. Look up at the sky. It burns.
I'm sick and tired of seeing a Microsoft that's barely even participating while Sony is dominating the console market. This console generation was the most one-sided we've ever seen. Microsoft not only lost the race, at times it seemed like they weren't even participating in it. The outcome of the upcoming event will have a substantial impact on the success of Microsoft's next generation system. As the Xbox One reveal event has demonstrated, one major blunder is enough to get kicked out of the race without any chance to get back in. Microsoft are in a really challenging position right now. They lost a lot of goodwill because of their unsuccessful Inside Xbox event, while Sony's first major outing was a huge victory. Given these circumstances, Microsoft have to deliver more than just a mediocre or good event. They have to make gamers excited for the future of Xbox again. And the best way to do just that is by offering a kick-ass exclusive portfolio. It's absolutely essential to present exclusives that aren't light years behind the competition in terms of quantity and quality. Even if Microsoft do everything right this time, I don't see them outselling the PS5. However, we would all benefit from a console generation that isn't completely one-sided. Viewers of my channel will know that I'm primarily a PlayStation fan, but competition is the lifeblood of innovation. If Sony and Microsoft compete on eye level, consumers profit from better games, better services and better prices.